Hi everyone, it's Louise from Louloupurple. So for today's projects, I'm going to be using the Sizzix Thinlet dies called Floral Blossom. For the first project, I am going to be doing a card. So I'm using some old cereal boxes and the hexagon stitched dies, and I'm going to be sticking a few layers of the cutout piece that you can see here on top of each other. So I think I actually do 4 layers in the end to make it nice and sturdy. And as always, I'm using my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue to stick the pieces together. So I then stick the inside parts together because this is going to be covered with some material in a moment. As you can see, I'm still using my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue to stick the cardboard to the jeans material. I then just cut off some of the excess jeans material and stick down the edges. I won't show you the whole process, I'll just show you a little bit and move on. Once that had all dried, here you can see I'm just using my Layer Perfect tool to get the hexagon in the middle of my card. I've also matte and layered a few layers of cardstock for my card base. I then use the Sue Wilson Happy Birthday die on some silver card. I am using some Sticks to foam pads to stick on my outer hexagon shape. I use my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue as this will give me some wiggle time when I stick the hexagon to the card base. I am using my Layer Perfect tool so that I can get my happy birthday straight. Moving on to the flowers, as I said before, I am using the Sizzix Thinlet dies called Floral Blossom, and I have also gone ahead and cut a load of the flowers out using the Sizzix Sculpting foam. I then use my pokey tool and my heat tool to heat up the sculpting foam. Now I'm doing this on a heat resistant craft mat which is on top of a glass cutting mat. Don't heat your foam on a surface that will warp. Anyhow, so you heat the sculpting foam up. Don't heat it too close because it will burn. You just want it so that it moves, and once you've heated it you can then shape the foam with your fingers. If you pull too hard it will rip, so just be careful, and obviously if you heat it too much it will go quite crisp and brittle. So again, just play around with one to start with, and you know, just play with it so you get used to what it does and how it moves, and you know, try not to overheat it. When you do the larger petals you want these more open, so you can just heat them a little bit and just use your fingers to make them more open. So what I'm trying to say is when you're doing the smaller flowers like I'm doing here now, you want them to be more of a bud, closed bud shape, so you can heat it and it will curl up on itself like that one. So some of the dies you can use as the inside part of the flower. I actually thought that this green bit that I'm doing now looks more like leaves, so I'm heating those up to use them as leaves to stick on the outside afterwards. You do get about 3 different sizes of the stamens part of the flower, which I'm heating up at the moment is one of them. It looks like a little sun. So Sizzix also make the stamen part of the flowers. This is one of the packs you can get. It's the pinkish colours. So I'm just picking out a few of the different colours and I'm going to put 3 of them together. I then fold them over. Sorry, I'm off screen at the moment. and I'm going to use my hot glue gun just to keep all of these together. So I have now got finger protectors that you can use so you don't burn your fingers on your hot glue. I will put them in the list below. So it's probably best you use the finger protectors, like I said, so you don't burn your fingers, but use your hot glue just to stick all the rods together. This will also make it easier for when you go on to the next part, which is putting the stamen and the flower together. So I'm just using my pokey tool to make a hole. Need to make it a little bit bigger than it was, and then poking through the stamen part onto the flower head. And I will continue doing this. So the next bit that I use is one of the smaller petals. So again, just using my pokey tool to make a hole in the middle, and then threading this on to my stamen post that I made. I will also use a little bit of hot glue to stick this in place. Now you really want a really tiny bit of hot glue, and as you probably know, when you're using hot glue it can get a bit thready. So just put a tiny bit on, push the flower petals up, get it in position, and then you can just pick away all the thready bits of the hot glue. And basically I will just carry on doing this with multiple flower petals. Make sure when you put your next layer on that it is not in line with the one before, so offset your petals so that it looks more natural. For this flower, I don't want it quite as shut as it is, so I'm just moving the petals outwards and just using my fingers to reposition everything on it and the stamens in the middle, and just pushing it all out so that it's more open. Once you're happy with all your layers of petals and your leaves, I just use a little bit more hot glue and pull the stamen post down into the glue and push it down and just cut it off. Because I'm going to use this flower on a card, I don't need the stamen post, I just want it to lay flat. These are my smaller flowers that I made. Again, just play around with the different colours, the different petal sizes, and how many layers you do is entirely up to you. Obviously, if you want a fuller flower, then you use more layers. If you want a smaller flower, you probably can get away with less. So on this one, I think I'm just going to show you that I'm making a bigger flower. So if you start with the larger petals, you can make a larger looking flower. You actually get 3 different sizes of the petals, so I'm starting with the middle size petal and then I will use the larger size petal after. Because this is a larger flower, the middle part of this that I've been using as the leaves wouldn't show if I just stuck it on like I did before. So I'm just cutting it up and sticking it so that it's showing on the outside of the flower. I found in one of my old die sets that I had a leaf shape. I think it was the rose dies that I had, so I used that as well, and I'm just sticking the leaves on with the hot glue and positioning everything onto my card. The other die that I've used is the star spray die. Again, I will list everything on my blog post, so any of the products that I've used you'll be able to find there. That is the first project all finished. This is a card for my window display. I then move on and do the same on an embroidery hoop. Now if your hot glue dries out because you've left it too long, you can actually pick it off, which is the good thing about hot glue, and then just do a small bit at a time. So I'll stop waffling and just let you see the rest of this process with some music. Once all the flowers are glued on and in position, I use some string to hang the hoop from, and it is now in my window as a window display item. And that is both projects all finished. If you would like to buy any of the products I've used in this video, they will be listed on my website blog post. I will leave a link in the description box below this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Links to my website, Facebook and more will be in the description box below, or click on the end screen at the end of this video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you got inspired. Bye for now.